Hey everyone, it's Gil. Um, I just recently moved back to my birthplace of Montgomery, Alabama, and decided after worrying about coming back here and thinking about, as we know, the South is not my perception of it. Unfortunately, the, the further southern states were not progressively open-minded. It's one of the reasons I left 35 years ago. And to my surprise, moving back to Montgomery has been an enlightenment for me. Welcoming, sweet, kind people. There's still problems, as there is anywhere. But I decided after coming back here and exploring some of my art after being here and actually being inspired by the history of the South, and something probably I was not willing to embrace as much as I should, especially being born an Alabama boy. I got a house here, moved down in an area that's known Capitol Heights, which is an older part of Montgomery, near the downtown. And decided I wanted to explore my southern roots more as a human being, as a gay man, and as a southern artist. So I have decided to start documenting some of the things I find, and maybe preconceived notions of other people, however many few people watch this, may be dispelled, or that you possibly could be inspired. I've got to tell you, the energy in this city, especially with its dark past, and they're embracing that dark past with the Legacy Museum, which is a phenomenal art. It's meant to show the repression of the black community and slavery, and how after slavery the aspect of basically forced labor within the prison system, and how that became a new slavery. It's a dark, dark part of Southern history and of Montgomery. They have taken and made such a horrible part of American history, a part of Southern history, a part of Alabama history, into such a thought-provoking, beautiful museum. The architecture of it, the aspect of when you walk through it, what you feel as a human being should be applauded. And I think there's going to be a renaissance of this city. It feels like people are ready for it. It feels like the energy here is much different, and maybe it's just because I've come home, and maybe that's part of it. But as a privileged white male, and that's what being white is privilege, this journey is not just about us, it's about all of us, and that we should see each other as human beings, and especially artists and the creativity of the universe and of what God gives you. I decided I wanted to explore this, and I wanted to video it. So the first thing we're going to do is I have found a place that's here that's Southern Art Makers, which is a small local gallery shop. It's got about 70 artists that participate in the collective. I have recently become one of them. And the three ladies that run it, and you will meet them in a few moments, are all artists. I think in my introduction I say each one of them do a specialty, but they don't. They're all broad artists, from painting all the way to jewelry, to materials, to fabrication. Are fascinating ladies, and are truly the embodiment of what the South feels like and should feel like. Welcoming, no matter who you are, what your beliefs are. They welcome you into this business that is a creative energy outlet, and it's got a phenomenal feeling to it. If you ever get a chance and you are in this area, one, you need to go to the Legacy Museum, which I'll talk about in another episode. But two, you need to go by and see Southern Art and Makers. It's on Madison Avenue. And what they want to do, and what the progression hopefully over the next few years will be phenomenal. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go by and visit them. So in a few minutes, switch around, we'll look at some stuff, and we'll look into the gallery, and we'll talk to them and kind of see what's going on. So again, I'm going to do this and document this. No one may watch it, or I might have a few people watch it. So if you do watch it, comment on it and let me know what I can do better. Okay? Thanks. Have a great day and be blessed. Hey guys, how are you doing? It's Gil from Out in 5. Thank you guys for joining us again. I'm in Montgomery, Alabama. So again, I've just recently moved. So I'm at Southern Art and Makers Collective, and I would like to introduce, I'll put my glasses on so I can see, introduce Aleah Goode and Heather Parrish and Melody White. Aleah does jewelry, Heather does mixed media, and Melody does jewelry. So they're an art collective here in Montgomery. I found them. I actually started putting my work here too. But it's a wonderful shop. It's a great place to come. So we're just going to sit here and talk, because that's the great thing about this shop is people come in and sit down up front and talk to these ladies because they're fantastic. So guys, let me ask you a question, and I'd like a kind of answer from all you guys. What inspired you guys to open this place?
Shall I go first? Short story.
Heather, now,
Short
can you tell
version.
Can you tell
Short
a short story?
version.
Can you tell?
It'll be on video if it happens.
Guys, we'll have some commercials in this, but go ahead.
We're gonna try, darling. Okay, here we go. Several years ago, don't even remember when, I got a little nudge to do something to make a place where artists could sell their work. I didn't feel like that our community was being served as well as it could be from the galleries that were here, that kind of stuff. And so it was just a desire in me. I held on to that for many years, never said anything. Around 2013, we had been doing shows together. We had done different little outdoor shows and stuff. But around 2013, I mentioned my little seed of an idea to someone who actually was a mover and a shaker and a doer. They gave legs to this, and he actually his name's Joe Barwell, and his idea was, let's do a pop-up. So to test the waters, and so we did a holiday pop-up for 5 years, 2013 to 2017. We did a holiday pop-up just to see if our area would support a artist-run gallery space, and we had tremendous support. That was the thing we were so excited about. And so in 2017, December 1st, Joe and I opened up an iteration of this. It was a different name. It was called Products of Montgomery, and we did that for about a year, and then he was ready to move on because he's a big idea person, and he likes to give birth to things.
Of it and then go, yeah.
And then he's on his way to something else. Yeah. And so Melody is my sister, and Aleah has been one of my best friends for life. Anyhow, since I pretty much lived here. And so it had always been our dream, I think, to work together. At least it had been my dream. I don't know if it had been theirs, but it was mine. Anyhow, and so they had been vendors with us, and when the opportunity arose, they came on board. And I honestly, although we had amazing success in that first year, we have exploded since they came on board. And we really, it's developed into who we really are and what we've become.
Well, and as someone that came in here and not knowing what it was, there's a sculpture on the outside which you guys will see on the opening to this. But Heather was here, and I think Melody was here also, and they were just welcoming. If you're a Southerner, that's what you love. I mean, you love to feel welcome and be around your people, as I say it.
Right.
And then I met Aleah. So, but the one thing that feels wonderful about coming in here as someone outside is the energy that you come into. Mm-hmm. And there is a spiritual energy in here that's not, I'm not going to define that as, a dogma to it, but there is a spiritual energy that feels good. And there's also a female empowered energy. And that's something very positive for someone on the outside coming in. So
as far as what do you want to see happen here in this area? And you guys will see when I show the opening to this. There's a little strip right along here near downtown Montgomery that has got the possibility of becoming a nice little art area here in Montgomery. But where would you guys like to see this go? Aleah?
Well, like as you said, our building is a strip and there are several spaces. Our vision is that we can eventually take over the whole block. We would love to do that. And this building actually has a basement underneath, and there's a street next to us and a field out back and a big open warehouse building that's all owned by our landlord. And so we would love for this thing to become this whole block.
And they'll see that too, because I'm going to video the whole thing.
We'd like to have murals out there. We would like to have outdoor art festivals periodically, and to take over this whole building so that we could have spaces for artists to have studios, but then continue to have the retail space like we have now, so an artist could be in their studio and work. If they want to be open and sell to the public, they can, or they can push their product down to our retail space so that we can continue to sell it for them, and they don't have to just be here and man a shop every day. So kind of a hybrid of what we're doing now, and then expand it into studio space.
That's a fantastic. Yeah.
And Heather needs to have a coffee shop. So anybody wants to
Yes!
have a coffee shop?
I would like to put a little plea out to
Put them
anyone
kind of
that
in
would
the
like to
middle.
have a little coffee shop, a little cafe, a little something. We would love to get in touch today.
Right.
Well, you got a baker, because there's a wonderful baker.
We do.
Yes.
We do have a lovely
Yes.
baker. I think primarily when I was envisioning all of this 100 million years ago, it feels like, there were so many different levels of things that I wanted to do. My background is in theater, and
I would never know.
I mean, I know, shocking. But you know, we have a fantastic community theater scene, but I would love eventually, you know, to have like a little black box theater that could, so that performances could be done. There wouldn't have to necessarily be a resident company there, but so that some of that could happen. We would love to even have a more traditional formal gallery space so that we could have shows that artists that come in from other areas that would want to be able to have up a show for a month or 6 weeks or something like that. There are so many things that we want to do. I have deemed that I want this to be called the Madison Art District, because from us all the way up to past the Crampton Bowl and to the Armory, they have art stuff going on, and we love supporting each other.
Yeah.
And we feel like there are other pockets of Montgomery that the artists are coming out and they're doing stuff and they are owning that space, and we just want to join in and own our space, because we feel like the more artists that are allowed to do stuff, whatever the genre is, whether it be dance, theater, writing, visual arts, whatever it is, the better our community is.
Yes.
And so we live in Capitol Heights. I live in Capitol Heights, which is yeah, that is it's the neighborhood right adjacent to us. And we have so many artists that are in that area who we represent, and we love it. There's even more than what we represent, but I just feel like that the more that we can do, the bigger that we can become. It truly becomes a collective for all of the people that want to be a part.
And it's pretty amazing since we've opened to just see how many artists there are out there that are just longing to get their products somewhere, and that's what we represent, is an area for you to just bring your stuff and just test the waters and see how it works for you without spending a fortune.
How many artists do you have here?
Ooh, how many do we have right now?
Yeah, we vacillate anywhere to 60 to 70, and that's another thing about this. It's a fluid kind of you're going to have people that come in there here for a little minute, and maybe they are ready to go somewhere else, or they're ready to do something else. And we love being sort of an incubator for people, especially, like, I know you can kind of see, this is a very brand new baby artist. Her name is Lois Luna. Lois Batu?
Yeah.
Luna is her Instagram handle. Lois Luna on Instagram. Anyhow, she's new to painting. She's new, but on the work, she's already sold work, and I think she's very talented.
Yeah.
And so it's wonderful. We love being able to work with people that have never done this before, because believe me, we all started
Yeah.
in that place,
Yep.
and we've learned so much through
Well,
the
because
years.
it was so hard for us.
Oh
We
my
didn't
gosh.
know what to do
Yeah.
in the beginning and how to
I
get
don't
our
think
work out there.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that this shop feels like when you come into it is you feel that ease when you come in, and that's the one nice thing that I say. And seriously, guys, I'm not saying this just because I'm doing this little cast, but I'm saying that this is one of the most relaxed places I've come in that has some really great art in it, and I love that you guys talk about that on our website. You guys will give the website address in a few minutes, but that you talk about that. You put down what you want to put into it, and that feels amazing for someone new to town. And I suggest, actually, because I know there's going to be a lot of my friends in New York that follow it. If you want to find a community to come to that you can afford, this is a great place
Yes.
for artists
Come
to start
on.
migrating down to.
Come on,
So-
darling.
So where do you guys see the shop being in 5 years? Where you see Melanie? Where do you see it being in 5 years? You already kind of gave me an idea where you want to go, but I mean, where would you really, if you had, God gave us the big dream book, we put it down here. Where would you like to see the? Let me get a little bit broader than that. Where would you like to see the art community in Montgomery in 5 years?
Well, I'll go first.
You go. It's okay. Well, I actually just moved here only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they've been in it a lot longer,
I've been
and they
in
know the community a lot better than
Yes.
I do. So that's why I'm not.
I have a grand vision for us. I have grand vision for the art community. I have felt for a very long time that Montgomery was due for a renaissance. She was due for a rebirth of the culture and the art. There, many years ago, I used to think, when I was holding on to this little dream, I used to think that there just wasn't much going on here. And I got a nice little, slap in the face from the Lord. I'll
Come
just
to
say
Jesus.
that. From the Jesus.
Come to Jesus.
From the Jesus. No, seriously, that was just this idea, this thought that was like, Heather, there's plenty of culture going on. You're just not choosing to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay. Because I was so self-righteous, and I just thought, well, there's tons of culture going on here. So what I see, what I hope, is that artists, first of all, I want to see people empowered that have always longed to do art, but never felt qualified or called to the party, I guess, or invited to the party.
Yeah.
People.
You're people.
I want those to have the courage and bravery to step out, because here's the deal: if you feel called to have something inside of you, to put it on canvas, to create it something. Yeah. It wasn't just meant for you.
No.
It wasn't just meant for you. It was meant for the entire community. And so, no matter whether you think it's good or bad, those are sort of relative terms.
Yeah, subjective.
Because I connect with things that people might not think I might connect with. That's the word I like to use more, is connect. And then there's some stuff that's deemed high art, and I go, I just don't connect with that. Does not mean it's not valuable. Just means that I don't connect.
Personal.
And
Yeah.
so I would love to see people that have always longed to be a part of the creative community, for them to feel welcomed into it, for them to have space to grow. Yes, for them to have space to grow, to be nurtured. I want to see that. That's the first thing I want to see. For the existing community that's here, I want to see it to be more inclusive. That there's room for everybody. Truly, there is room for us all. Does not matter. I say this quite a lot. I used to teach little high school art students, pumpkins, and I used to tell them, it doesn't matter if every single person on the planet at the same time decided they're all going to be artists. There would be room for everybody. Yeah. And the truth is,
God, what a great world.
Wouldn't that be good?
What a great world.
Can we just dream for a moment? No, seriously, because the art community, my Instagram feed, I follow artists and makers, and And so that's my little world on social media, online. And so I sometimes get a little confused about the fact, well, that's all I'm seeing. Well, let me just tell you something right now. The art community is tiny compared to the big bad, the big old world.
Yeah.
And so we need more of that. So I want to see Montgomery. I want to see her have her renaissance. I want to see her blossom, and the people that are artists to continue to grow, to become more inclusive. Now, I'm not saying that we're not, but there's just room. There's more room for more.
Yeah.
Come on,
Just
there's
more.
more room. But yes, I see that, and so I know that's a little vague.
No.
But I mean, but that's what I feel like that we really have grown in the last few years. I have seen, and maybe it's just because I've really gotten more involved, but I just see there's more growth and there's more people coming in, and there's there's other collectives in the city that are doing tremendous work, especially like in the social justice areas and other parts that are really embracing that and celebrating artists, and we love that, and we want to see more of that.
That was the one thing when I moved. And you guys will know this from the previous ones. I was born here and then moved away for 35 years. I expected the energy when I came back to be a little bit different than it is, and I guess I judged it in the wrong way. The energy here is vibrant.
Yeah.
It's not repressive. It's not. There's a good, and I've told you. Melanie, you might have been here. I know you weren't here, Aleah, but I was telling her that I've been inspired by my southern roots by coming back here, and it's like the creative force is flowing, and like I believe it's a God force. Creative for me personally, a creative force is a God force, but. And I think that's what this encompasses for you guys. You ladies have done a really wonderful job, and you welcome everyone that comes in. I've been here a few times and seeing people come in. There's so much to look like. You have to come more than once, but they come in and they look around. But the welcoming aspect, you guys make everyone feel so welcome. You've got such bubbly personalities, and each one of you are individually different. But the personalities you guys bring to this is fantastic. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
We work really hard. What I was going to say, it is extremely important to us. That was one of the things that I think, again, to make art accessible to everybody. I always think about opera and how opera is it's a beautiful art form. But if you talk to opera, if you talk to the normal average person, they'll be like, opera?
Yeah.
Like it seems this high art form or whatever. Well, that's not what it was ever intended to be. It was intended to be music for the people. And so that's the way
protest it sometimes. Actually,
come
yes.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I have felt like, especially in my experience, there have been plenty of times that I have, I would never dream of going into a gallery because it feels like you're not wanted.
Welcome. Yeah.
You're not welcome. You're not wanted. You're not intelligent enough. You're not all the things. You're just not enough.
Yeah.
And that I have plenty of words that I think about that. That is just not what we want to be.
Offensive is one of them to me.
Yeah.
Well, I know when people walk through the door, I want to greet people the way I would want to be greeted.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
I would want it to be welcoming and inviting, and you don't know what kind of day people's had.
Yeah.
And so that's just what I always
And
think
art
about.
brings joy to me. So
Absolutely.
even if it's on the darker side, I get joy from art because
Sure.
it's a creative force that comes through. But there's so many different joyous outlets here to see because it is there's a little bit of everything that you walk in here and see.
I feel like that if you love, this is your thing, and you can't find something here. Well, because we have so many things.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah. And if you guys get the coffee shop and the bakery
Wouldn't that be fabulous?
and a place to sell art supplies.
Okay.
Yes.
And a big gallery, then it's done, guys. I gotta tell you.
Oh, friends.
And if you move from anywhere else, you got to move up here in the Capitol Heights area
You have
because
to. It's amazing. Come on, we're talking about 20s and 30s architecture at a really good rate. Yes, come be our neighbor. Come.
Let's make a new art community here.
Let's do it.
So, guys, what's your website?
southernartmakers.com.
Okay, and Facebook is?
Southern Art Makers.
Okay.
As well as Instagram.
Instagram is the same.
Okay.
We'll try to be real streamlined.
Yeah.
And you can go to their website, and it's got artist profiles on it. It talks about a little bit of the philosophy. The opening page is the philosophy for the shop, which is a beautiful thing. So I don't know if this will be out in time, but at October 24th, there's going to be an event here, and then you guys are going to plan on, or you have, besides COVID messing it up, every 3 months or so you guys do something, right?
Block
Like a
party.
fair.
And I guess this is kind of our baby version of these festivals that
Yeah.
I'm dreaming of having someday. So right now, the artists that are in our shop will come, set up tents outside, just hang out, bring stuff, whatever. We have people that come and do pop-ups during that event at the same time. So we have lots of extra work, extra people, and then the community comes and it's just like a big old party.
Yes.
And this will be our first one this year, and we've missed people.
I know.
Yes.
We've missed being with all the people because we love it. I feel like that our shop becomes alive when there's people here. It really just the energy from everybody, just the like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a minute. How you do?
Yeah.
Just the feel of like seeing people, and it's a wonderful place. So we're really excited about doing this. I know that because of COVID, there's certain things that we're gonna have to do, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna wear the mask, and we're gonna social distance, but we're doggone it, we're gonna see people because we haven't been able to all year.
And 2 things before we close. Please, no one send me anything about the mask, because we made a choice not to wear a mask here, but they also say that to everybody that comes in, that you need to wear a mask, or if there's not a lot of people here, just stay distant. So it's not a thing against COVID or a statement or anything that we're not wearing a mask.
No.
Secondly, for those of you that follow me for the murals I've done, I'm trying to talk them into letting me do one here. So
To
'cause
clarify, we've given you
Shout
permission.
and
He's the project manager now.
Yes.
So when you guys comment on this, I would love for you guys to talk about something, if you are from Alabama, the aspect of Southern pride and not being a negative thing, but to being a positive thing in the reemergence.
Yes.
The reemergence of Southern art and the Southern art maker is something that's beautiful, because we do have such an incredible heritage, good and bad, like every place. But I got to tell you, because of the Legacy Museum, if you ever get a chance to come here to see it, there is an emergence from something that was horrible here coming about. You can feel it within the city. So
Well, it's taking ownership of it, right?
yeah, and it needs to be.
And like acknowledging it, and then also in essence repenting of it,
Yeah.
and saying, hey, this was not okay,
Right.
and we shouldn't have done this, and it's on us, and we're sorry, and let's grow from that. Let's move on.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, but let us move forward with healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the one thing that I was so impressed by this is that was and not going on a tangent, but that was such an art statement along with something that horribly. That is one of the most beautiful places, and I've been to the places in Washington and New York. That's a beautiful museum. I mean, for such a horrible thing, it's whoever designed it, which I'll find out that and let you know. That it was incredible. So, ladies, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule
Yes.
and letting us do this. So, guys, look for more in the future. And I appreciate you guys tuning in, and any comments is much appreciated. Share this. Again, the Southern artist is something that's true to our heart, and the Southern artist is somebody that you want to get to know.
Absolutely.
So thank you, and have a good day, guys. Thanks.
Bye, y'all.